All right, well, I heard that I should look at today's Warmle because it's interesting, maybe. Haven't done a Warmle for a little while, so that seemed like a good idea. So if you're not familiar with Warmle, this is like Wordle, but the clues are telling us if the correct letter is within 3 letters of the guessed letter in the alphabet. So like the S here, since it's yellow, that means that it's going to be P, Q, R, T, U, or V. The J, being gray, means it's not G, H, I, K, L, or M. So that's about all we need to know. There is a plus version and a super plus, and we'll get to those after this, but for now we're gonna start with these. So, I mean, it seems like the yellow is the place to start. This has to be P, Q, R, T, U, V. This is A, B, C, E, F, G. So let's do maybe something ending in like T, E. T, E would be good, maybe. Something T-E. And these can be just about, you know, I mean, the Y's just can't be anything at the end of the alphabet, and the J, we're missing some in the middle, but U might be good there. And then these could be just about anything. How about shoot? Seems good. Okay, well, we got the E. That's good. This one is, we've ruled out P and T. It's probably not Q. R, U, or V. V isn't too bad. And the nice thing about doing V is if we get a yellow again, then we know it's U, because R is too far away. If we guess U and we get a yellow, then it could still be R or V. And if V is gray, that rules out the U and the V as well. So I think V is good to do there. Feels like this should be a vowel probably. Not necessarily, but given the letters we have left, I mean, it could be like an L or an R or something, except those are already ruled out. So this one, what about grow? Okay, well, we got a yellow V, which means it's U. So it's U-E. So now I'm thinking this might not be a vowel. It's more likely to be a consonant. We've got a lot of options for the first one still. The second one, we don't have too many. The second and third are much more limited. So, now, if the second one is a vowel, it has to be an A. So let's think about if that could be an A. What would we have? Yeah, I don't think that works with the A there. So I don't think that's gonna be a vowel. But it's probably not a triple consonant at the beginning. And it's probably, I mean, this would have to be an A if this one is a vowel, or an E. Oh, it can't be, no, it can't be Q, almost. If this could be a U, you could do Q, U, E, U, E, but it can't be. And so I don't like E there. What about A there? No, I don't like that either. So unless it's a triple consonant, I think there's a vowel at the beginning, which would have to be O or U. Oh, undo, undo. There we go, undo. Okay, very cool. So now we will look at the super Warmle, which is the same game, except now the clues are telling us if the letter is within 2 instead of within 3. Oh, the Z's are super unhelpful. Thanks a lot. But this is Q, R, T, or U. So it's normally I would say probably not Q, and it is probably not Q, but it is at the beginning, which is I think the most likely place to have a Q. It would have to be followed up by a U, which is possible. Let's do quest. That's doable, right? Yeah, that's not terrible. Okay, so it's not a Q. It's all right. This is C, D, F. So this is T or U. This is C, D, F, or G. This is Q, R, T, or U. Now this is almost for sure not Q because that's a weird place for a Q, first of all. And second of all, there's no U available to put after it. So this is probably not a Q. R, so what if we did, let's assume it's T just for a second. It could be like TH, but then this one is not, this is a consonant for sure, C, D, F, or G. This one is a consonant unless it's a U. So odds are 2 consonants in a row, this is probably a vowel. Although this could be UN again. Actually, it could be undo again. Well, that would be weird, wouldn't it? I mean, that's not a terrible guess, actually. That's actually not too bad anyways, so let's go with undo. Oh, it was undo, wow! The same word? Super Warmle Plus isn't gonna be undo, is it? That would be really insane. So the Super Warmle Plus, this is, again, the same game, but it's within 1 instead of within 2 or 3. Is undo possible? No, undo is not possible this time. It's almost possible, just the N there. Okay, so, what do we want to do here? So R, S, and T are all good letters. What I'm thinking is we want to try to check for good letters, but like a group of good letters. And when we guess a letter, we're essentially checking 3 potential letters, right? The one on either side as well. And so, you know, you don't want to guess like K, because K is not very likely, and J also isn't very likely. So, and you know, like X checks W and Y, but you know, R, S, and T are all pretty good. So S wouldn't be too bad. We could do an S somewhere. It doesn't have to be there necessarily. See, now P seems like a decent second letter, but we're also checking for O and Q not very likely. So that's not so good. We could do T, S, we could do ST. That's not too bad. T is checking ST and U. You know, like L and N are good letters. We could do an M somewhere, which would check L, M, and N. M is not quite as good, but it's not terrible. H is also pretty good. We could do SH. Check G, H, and I. That's not too bad. But then we need to have a vowel, probably. And this one is interesting, because we don't want to check the O, because it's only checking N and O then, because we already know about the P. U isn't terrible, T, U, and V. E isn't bad, D, E, and F. A we don't want to do, because again, it's only A and B. I we don't really want to do, because there's probably not a J. And we're trying to maximize the amount of information, or the amount of good information we can get. So we'd have to do probably E or U on this one, if we're going for a vowel. We could do E, and then we could do D and S again. You know, in normal Wordle, we don't want to repeat a letter normally, but it doesn't really mean anything in this one to repeat a letter. It just means you're checking for the same letters, so that's not too bad. Let's go with sheds. Okay, so this S means it's R or T. I'm gonna say T. It could be R, but I feel like R is more likely to have an E before it. We can't do an E or an O, so T feels more likely to me there. Now this could be an R. Do we want to check R? Because we don't really want to know about Q. We don't really care about Q. This one, all right, so, you know, we could do something like IRT. Isn't terrible. Not great, because the I is checking the J, the R is checking the Q. It's not terrible. What else could we put before the T if we don't do an R? You know, you could do like an F or something, but of course the F has the same problems. At this point, G is probably one of the better, G or H are probably the better letters to guess. What about, I was gonna say you could do something GHT, but of course there's no I here. And the G is only helping with the G and H. otherwise that's not too bad. We could do ought. That's not terrible. Let's go with it. Not great. Okay, we got the T. We got the T. I mean, we're quickly running out of good things to check here. Unfortunately, LT isn't terrible as a guess, but L is not really helpful. RT is one of the better options at this point, I think, given what we've got. Or UT. This one, so it's probably a vowel then if that was an R. Or ST. ST is better, because that's gonna check the R, S, and the T. And it is a double T is a possibility. That's probably better than checking Q. But it's still probably, it's a vowel here, right? An O, an I, an A, a U. U isn't too bad there. But then what would be at the beginning? Crust? Crust isn't too bad. It's not terrible. C is gonna check B, C, and D. The downside there is we kind of leave the A and the E hanging as individual letters, but the R is gonna check for Q, R, and S. So basically R and S. The U will check T, U, and B. That's not terrible. Let's go with crust. Okay, we're getting there the hard way. Okay, okay, before the S and the T, if it's a vowel, it's A, I, or O. If it's not a vowel, I mean, you could do NST, I guess. You could do LST, maybe. You could do something like I, like OI, hoist or something, Joyce, ooh. Joist is possible. Now that I said that J is not a good letter to check. So is moist. Moist is probably better because it checks the L and the M as opposed to the I, J, and K. The J checks more letters. The O checks O and P. Again, it might be better to do one that checks 3 letters like B or E. E might be better. If we do an E there, that's D, E, and F. We could do an A, which would do A and B. That's not too bad. And then we could do L, we could do least. Which would check K, L, and M. So if nothing else, at least we're ruling out, you know, several possibilities, including moist, potentially. Or if the L is yellow, moist becomes more likely. All right, let's go with least. Okay, okay, that was really good. Okay, what can it be? It can be, ooh, yeast. Yeast, what else could it be besides yeast? It's not gonna be an A or an E or an I or a J. Q, U, V, W, X, wow. I think it has to be yeast. All right, grasping victory from the jaws of defeat here, I think. Yes. All right, after crust, it was not looking very good. Wow, okay, well, I'm kind of glad I didn't do moist then, because if we'd done moist, I mean, the good thing is we would have ruled out a lot of possibilities there. I don't know if we would have been able to get yeast if I'd guessed moist instead of least. But yeah, well, very interesting that Warmle and Super Warmle were the same answer. I'm assuming that these words are chosen at random and that wasn't done on purpose, but it would be interesting to hear from the creator of the game to know if that was the case. But yeah, so there you go. Let me know how this Warmle, Super Warmle, and Super Warmle Plus all went for you today. And be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you again soon with some more puzzles. Part of a water system that flows from right here at Lake Okeechobee in Central Florida out to the Gulf of Mexico. The name Okeechobee. Okay, so not Africa, but Northeast. Okay, so we're in the Middle East then, probably. Because it is pretty warm. Oh, no, it's not because the A is at the end. It's gonna be extra. Oh, and oxide, we would have had the X from oxide.